Here we are, the Wait for It Seattle podcast at Seatown Sports. It's episode 88. There's
88. Jeremy Stevens?
Is it?
I don't know.
I have a memory of, God, I wanted to say Tommy Kane, but I think he was 81. So now I'm all thrown off. Jimmy Graham, I'm pretty sure, was 88.
Yeah. You know, he's up there with Sidney Rice as notable free agents that never panned out.
Jay Barner is currently number 88 for the Seahawks.
So. The Barn Show.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting. I mean, he is actually really exciting for the Hawks. But that's not why you're here, to talk about all the 88s in Seahawks history, which actually, they are rough when you look at them. I was right about Jimmy Graham. A lot of tight ends, Kev, a lot of tight ends. But that's not why we're here. We've got lots of stuff to talk about. You know, we haven't, it took us 88 episodes, but we want to do like what's called a tease here, Kev. So you get the people to listen or to watch on YouTube. On this episode today, we're going to talk about the potential return of the Seattle Supersonics. We're going to talk about the WNBA reaching a new agreement with their Players Association. We're going to preview your Seattle Mariners today.
There's so much going on. There's so much going. We have to talk about JSN's new contract. So all those things are coming up. But you have to watch or listen. See, that's called a tease, Kev. That's called a tease. I like it.
Can I start with one thing totally unrelated?
Yeah.
It's related to our industry, if you call it that right now.
Yeah.
The Ringer, which I enjoy the Ringer podcasts, they laid off, I think, 7 people from their kind of content editorial division today through Spotify. No offense, Spotify.
Are they podcasters? They're podcasters.
They're not. But
the
writers. Article I read was that part of the layoffs have to do with the fact that more podcasts, it's moving towards the video format. That either that's what people like or that's what they want to produce.
I was just going to say that Netflix has just a bunch of video podcasts now.
Well, that's the same. Yeah, it's the Ringer Network. So all of Bill Simmons stuff is on there, and they're doing all kinds of.
I'll talk about Bill Simmons a little later today.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't get it. If you're watching us, good for you. You get to see this mess of a background. But like, I listen to podcasts in the car.
Yeah.
Or on a walk.
Well, you're a teacher. So
who watches podcasts?
So people like that work at desks that are doing work on the computer.
Yeah.
Right? Will have YouTube podcasts open. Like it's a thing.
Just open Spotify and listen to it. You're not watching it anyway.
No, I mean, it's visually appealing to see people talk. You can see facial expressions. They can see me yawn. They can see how angry you get for no reason. It's great stuff.
All right. Well, let's lean right into that.
And we get our clips.
You just interrupted me, Kevin.
See?
Let's lean right into that anger. We got to start with March Sadness. So the first thing I got to lead off with, because a lot of people were with me on this bandwagon of the Santa Clara Broncos, not Seattle sports related, but my alma mater. You're a season ticket holder. Oh my God, what a gut punch that one was.
It was a great game, though. Oh. It was a great game. Ken Palm has an excitement metric.
Yeah.
And it was the most exciting game since 2016, just like all the games ever, like NCAA tournament, regular season games.
Great.
It sucks that we were on the short end of the stick of that one.
I'm glad it was the most exciting since 2016. And now you go back 20 years previous from that, and that's the last time Santa Clara was in the tournament. 96. So they took 30 years. I went to college. They have not been in the tournament. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting. I couldn't even watch the end of it. I had to listen on the radio. And as I'm listening on the radio, I lose my mind at a stoplight when Alan Graves hit the 3 to go ahead with 2 seconds left. I was like, like losing it. And then within, obviously, seconds, they, Oweh hits the 3 from 35 feet. No! I'm screaming.
It was just brutal. Like after he hit the bank 3 that now they can get now Kentucky can like reset. basically, right? And have another quarter to play or another, overtime, right?
I don't want to have too much sour grapes here.
Yeah.
Obviously, Herb Sendek tried to call timeout. They didn't see it. That happens. Go watch the clip. They started the clock late.
They did.
They did. And so that bothers me because they stole my chance to watch Santa Clara play Iowa State and get annihilated by 30 points. Iowa State would have crushed them.
Yeah,
but it would have been nice. It would have been nice.
Yeah.
It was, anyway. So Santa Clara's done.
That was fun.
As are most people's brackets. But
yeah. I had them in the Final Four.
You did not.
I did. I picked one bracket. It's so hard. I guess now I think everyone's strategy is going to shift, but you want to pick a sufficient amount of upsets, right? And so obviously I felt good about them because I just have watched them play and I know that they're legit. Not Final Four legit, but right, you just pick upsets. So anyways.
Yeah, you could pick upsets. I mean, this year, I forgot that last year it was all 4 number 1 seeds in the men's tournament that went to the Final Four. But you talk about chalk and teams winning who are the heavy favorites. My God, the women's tournament.
I texted you last. That's crazy.
There is parity in some ways. Because it's not just UConn winning every year, right? There was a stretch where it was UConn all the time. And honestly, as somebody who was trying to get into watching more women's basketball, it wasn't that appealing because you watch sports for the drama and the theatrics, right? You don't watch sports unless you're a fan of UConn or the Yankees or the Dodgers currently to just see the inevitable happen, right? So there is more parity in that. I don't know. There's probably 10 teams that can win the national championship this year. But
women's or men's?
I'm talking about the women. I'm talking about the women. I'm getting to the point. I'm just taking a long time, Kev. Give me a break here. It's episode 88. But the scores of the second round games, like Texas beating Oregon, who I've watched Oregon. I went to their game live.
Yeah.
They're a they're good enough basketball team.
Yeah.
Texas beat them 100-48 or whatever it was. UConn beat Syracuse by 50 today. These are second round games, not to mention the first round 50-point blowouts, right? That's silly. It's dumb. So I'm really excited for the women's tournament to get to the later rounds where there's good matchups every time. With that said, the team who's a lower seed, who I think could play with anyone, and they've proven it this year, are the Huskies.
Yeah, they took out UCLA. If you look at their first
at the 2 times they played UCLA.
Yeah,
right?
and then look at the first 2 rounds of UCLA's games where they demolished these teams. Man.
Kev, the Big Ten tournament final, UCLA won by 50 against Iowa, who lost today. Turned out was fraudulent.
Yeah.
Right?
Are the Huskies were they just underrated, underseeded? I mean, they were a 6 seed.
They should have been a 6 seed, but something about their roster, and this will be interesting for next year. It's kind of part of the conversation here. Something about their roster makes them be able to play with the big guns, right? I don't know what South Carolina, UConn would look like, maybe UCLA because they've been in the conference with them, but they lost to UCLA way less than anybody else. They were in the game into probably the third quarter in both matchups. They beat Michigan, who I think is a 2 seed. They beat Minnesota, who's a 4 seed. And then they just take TCU on the road. TCU with a 46 home game winning streak, longest in the country, and they go to overtime. And
that home crowd was nickel.
They were really good. They were a really good crowd. So how do you view this? Is this March sadness, or do you have hope? Or where are you? Somewhere in between?
For some reason, it's very encouraging that even though these programs have, I got to separate the men's and the women's.
Yeah.
I think the women's have had historically way more success than the men's team, dating back to their Final Four appearance. And I do think it's good. I think it's a step forward. The transition of the Big Ten, if you think of the big 3 sports programs at UW, football, men's basketball, women's basketball, this team's been the most successful. Most of the commentary after the game wasn't the core is going to disintegrate and we don't know when we're going to get back here. It's no, this team has a good core. They can compete in the Big Ten. Watch out. they could be a top 15 team with returning production, and who knows what comes through the transfer portal. All your freshmen become sophomores, like that sort of thing. So I'm very optimistic about the Husky women's team. I think I think Howell's going to be a first team preseason Big Ten player. I'm encouraged by the bigs on the team. I think they're just going to be better, and they played in the Big Ten, and I think they're going to improve upon what they had 10 losses, 11 losses with the tournament loss. Like, I think they're going to be pretty good next year. It's exciting if they retain everybody, which I don't think will be an issue.
Yeah, so there's a couple things, right? I think you might be right about Howell. I think she had an amazing sophomore year, but let's not forget that Xavier Sellers was all Big Ten, and she's returning, right? So you have Sellers and Howell returning.
Yeah.
Elle Ladine graduates. Unfortunately for Elle Ladine, podcast guest, she had a really bad senior year. She had a hamstring injury to start the year, and she just never got it going, to the point that in the game against TCU, she shot the ball 6 times and had 2 points. And this was the leading scorer for the Huskies a year ago as a junior.
Yeah.
We talked on this podcast, or maybe I just talked to my friend. We said, is there anyone on the Huskies that could be a WNBA player? This is before Howell came. And it was like Sellers or Ladine. I was like, Ladine might be a late first-round pick. That was the way she was playing after her junior year. I mean, she's not even in the conversation anymore, right?
Yeah.
But if you look forward to the next year, because Ladine had such a bad year, and they went, as you said, 22-11, a 6 seed, they return. Hannah Steins also graduates. So out of the starting lineup, they return Sellers and Howell, who could be all Big Ten. And then Bryn McGoy, their big, who's a freshman, who in that game was the most important player at sometimes. I mean, she's going to make a leap as a sophomore. It's going to be incredible. And then they'll round out that rotation with Devin Coppinger, who played an amazing 32 minutes in this game. She'll be a junior. Chloe Briggs, who didn't play in this last game, but is part of the rotation in the regular season. Sienna Harvey, who's a backup point guard, who I talked on this podcast. I think she's amazing. I think she's going to have a huge year.
She's from Australia.
Yes. And then they're going to get a big in the transfer portal because they don't have a big coming in the recruiting class. They have a freshman guard coming in who's really good. But based on how the freshmen have been going, she probably won't play a lot next year. They'll probably get, I'm guessing, a guard and a big in the portal. And to your point, they were one of the only teams in America, if not the only team, that didn't lose anyone in the portal.
I think if you look at the success that Howell had, like, that's encouraging in terms of recruiting transfer portal players.
Sure.
Ladine coming off of the books, for the lack of a better term, I think you're going to distribute her rev share NIL. It's going to get, like, a chunk is going to go to Sellers, a good chunk is going to go to Howell.
Sellers and Howell get paid.
I don't think I don't think you can necessarily replace Ladine. It'll be more like, well, the senior transfer that came in, the big, what's her name?
Grabaskaya.
Julia. Yeah, so she'll come off the books. I think there'll just be some plug and play type of players.
Maybe they'll get a boost in the NIL too, because I think people see momentum building, right?
Yeah.
Like, you would want to back this. To your point, I mean, I saw somebody say they thought top 10. I think that's aggressive. I think a top 15 team is fair. I think in some ways, but the Big Ten so good, you got to look at, like, what does it look like in the Big Ten? Can they be a top 5? You think about Minnesota being a 4 seed this year, like the Huskies can they should try to go be a 4 seed next year with that roster.
Yeah.
So that's really exciting. I will be renewing my season tickets. I'll be back at the games.
I will also be renewing my Santa Clara tickets.
All right, let's go, baby.
Yeah.
Speaking of NIL, they're going to hit that portal. They've been good in the portal.
Yeah.
They've gotten some talent, Santa Clara has in the portal.
It seems so far that Sendek hasn't indicated that he's going to get up and leave.
I think they're going to give him an extension.
Yeah, I mean, they should. I really think that they should. They're going to see a huge bump in their application numbers because a lot of people watch that Kentucky Santa Clara game, right? So
I don't think their application numbers are suffering.
No, not at all.
That's cool.
But I will say, though, they, one time LMU, I'm going to go on a little tangent here, but one time LMU had
They made this such a big deal. This was years ago, maybe close to 10 years ago, where they put LMU, like an LMU ad on New York Times Square with like the big screen. And they put it on their Instagram and people were commenting like, this is what you're spending your money on. Like there's the typical like social justice, like, why are you spending your money? This could go to tuition assistance. But my favorites were, why are you wasting your money? If you invested this in your basketball team and made it past the third round of the WCC tournament, you definitely would get an enrollment bump. This is such a waste of money.
I mean, there's truth there.
There's so much truth there. And this is why High Point invest millions of dollars into their basketball program, because now they're going to get a bump in their enrollment. Like, it's just so simple. If you're good at college basketball or college football, like it's part of the ecosystem. It feeds everything else. Like it's why these small liberal arts colleges that are D1 put all their eggs in the basketball bucket, because you could get a good story like Santa Clara this year.
Florida Gulf Coast, remember Dunk City?
Yeah.
Their out-of-state applications went up 88% after the run in the March Madness.
Yeah, I mean, did you even know who VCU was?
Like VCU, yes. VCU beat Duke with Eric Maynor back in the day. Come on. You're talking to a sports junkie here, Kev. You're talking to a real March Madness fan.
Yeah. Dayton?
I did not know Florida Gulf Coast before they put on Dunk City. I was not very familiar with High Point.
Yeah.
I certainly wasn't familiar, and it didn't work out for them, of this school called Queens from North Carolina. That I was like, they must be from New York. No, they were not. Okay.
Yeah, Hofstra's in New York, by the way.
Yeah, I know where Hofstra is, Kev. You're picking schools that everyone knows. Speedy Claxton went to Hofstra, played the NBA.
Yeah.
Yeah, God. Kev, don't quiz me on this. This should be our top 5.
Yeah.
You quizzing me on things I know. Okay.
God, reminds me I need to get a top 5 together.
Boy, okay. Well, maybe I can do it for the two of us, because we'll get to that later. You'll want to listen.
March sadness. All right, what's next?
Let's transition to something a little less sad and a little bit more exciting. A big new contract for one Jackson Smith-Njigba of your Seattle Seahawks. So Jackson Smith-Njigba is now the highest paid receiver in the NFL. He's the highest paid player in Seahawks history, passing Russell Wilson's contract. Do you want me to outline some of the details here and then have you react, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So this is all courtesy of the Seattle Times, so appreciate them for writing great coverage, support local journalism. 4-year, so there's a couple parts that are interesting. Maybe 2 days ago, they picked up Jackson Smith-Njigba's 5th-year option. Okay. Just to be clear, I think I have this right. This coming season, so it'll be the 2026 fall, he'll be playing in his 4th year of his rookie contract. 27 would be his 5th-year option. Okay. Then they signed him to an extension 4 years after that. So he's now under contract for 6 additional seasons, which is very exciting. The extension was 4 years, $168.6 million or $42.15 million per season. It is more than Jamar Chase. He's the highest paid receiver in NFL history. Crazy. He gets $69.13 million fully guaranteed at signing. Okay. But now, because of the option in the 4th-year rookie contract, what it means essentially is he's going to make $195 million over 6 years, which averages out to $32.5 million. The way, and I don't know all of the details of this, but the way the cap works from overthecap.com is that they can now have hits be less in different years. So in 2026, his cap hit is 10.3 million instead of 5.8. That's certainly not 40, right?
Yeah.
That gives them some, and then the 27 cap hit actually drops by a little bit to 8 million because of the extension with the option, right? So in the next 2 years, his cap hit's only 10 million and 8 million. Why does that matter? It matters because it creates space for a Devin Witherspoon giant contract as well.
See, they could see my facial expression agreeing with you.
When you're watching the video, you can see Kev. If you're on audio, he was nodding vigorously.
Well, and here's the thing. It's not like you wait until later to do the Witherspoon extension. I think that happens next.
It's the same logic, right?
Yeah.
And I think in a past life or a future life, maybe being a capologist would be like totally my jam. Like I would have loved that job.
Do you think he hits the record, right? And
Yeah.
I guess he's setting the market.
Yeah.
Does he deserve to be like the highest paid receiver?
It's an interesting question because if you did it based on who the best receiver in the NFL is, I mean, he had the year last year that would back that up, right?
Yeah.
And he had a playoff run that was pretty good that would back it up. We talked about this before on the podcast. This is no knock on JSN. I think I'd rather have him than any receiver in the NFL because I'm going to come back to the knock because he is low drama. Now, maybe that changes, but I doubt that changes when he gets paid. Like, it's more likely to have more drama before you get paid. He just isn't that kind of guy. Talent-wise, Jefferson, Chase, Puka, to me, those three are probably higher ceiling, right, in their peak years. But I'll take the stability of JSN, the teammate, all those guys have had moments, maybe less Chase. Jefferson's been pretty good, but he's had some moments. And Puka certainly has had some moments in the last year, as good as he's been against the Seahawks.
Yeah.
He's had some odd moments, right? So I don't know. What do you think? Do you think he's worth being paid the number one receiver in the NFL?
I agree with everything you just said. And the only thing that I want to add is that you have to juxtapose the stability. When you say stability, what you really mean, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, is a no drama superstar. And think of...
There are none. Like, he's really one of one.
But think of the dude that was wide receiver number one before him.
Mm-hmm.
And we've spent so much time defending DK Metcalf for how he acted and whether...
I think you might have.
What he did was defensible. But there was a segment of fans that spent their energy doing this.
And I have defended him before.
And sometimes it was fair to defend him, and sometimes it wasn't. It was like, what are you doing, dude? Yeah. But it was like, oh my God, you're in your 5th year in the league and you're still doing this. Like, just be a good teammate. Just catch footballs and be really good. And it just was never consistent. And Smith-Njigba has been consistent in the 2 years, right? And he's only going to get better. And I agree with you. I don't know if his ceiling is as high as those guys you just mentioned, but he definitely has the potential to get there, and he likes it here. So I definitely think he's worthy of it. And at wide receiver, it's not like at running back where you're going to have just durability concerns by virtue of the position, right? If he suffers some type of injury, a season-ending injury sometime in these 5 years, he can bounce back from it, right? Like, wide receiver is that type of position.
Especially because he's sorry to interrupt you, but he's such a precise route runner. That's what they say about him.
Yeah.
And it's not like a guy relying on speed. So if you get an injury, you're not taking away that speed. He should theoretically be able to. I mean, he's going to lose explosiveness at some point, like all players do. But he's not just running by people. That's what Shaheed's going to do, hopefully, next year. I had a student in class. A lot of my students apparently listen to this podcast, so hello, who said, well, imagine what they could do with that money, if they hadn't signed him. And this is a kid who's a JSN fan, but he's like, that's a lot of money. My response was like, well, what would they do? What don't you want? JSN's a top 5 receiver. That's what you want from it. You're not going to go replace that with that money. You're not going to, there's no running back that's worth going and getting for part of that money. I think that is who you want to pay. So the Witherspoon deal will be interesting. I want to take a quick second to say they seem to have matched Jake Bobo's offer sheet from the Jaguars. So Jake Bobo will also be back. So the receiver room is pretty. I like Jake Bobo. He's a good player. That receiver room is pretty good. But corner Witherspoon is interesting. So Trent McDuffie just got traded to the Rams, former Husky, your favorite. He's now the highest paid corner in the year or in the league at $31 million per year. Sauce Gardner's at 30, Derek Stingley 30, J.C. Horn 25, Jalen Ramsey 24, Surtain 24. Does Witherspoon deserve to be the top paid corner in the NFL?
No.
Hard. It's a hard.
Yeah. I do think he's like a step below, like a tier obviously below JSN at his position.
Okay, but even if you do that, this is my other point I was going to make about JSN. So even if you say he's not the best receiver in the NFL, he's next up.
Yeah.
So if you're next up, you just become. So Puka's going to become the top paid receiver once he gets his contract, I think. Because Puka's up next year, I think. So I guess maybe Witherspoon gets $32 million a year and becomes it, and then somebody else passes him, right? Is that foolish? I don't. I mean,
sometimes you got to pay your core.
Yeah, if
you can't. Yeah,
I mean, can you imagine not having him? Like,
yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
He makes the defense go. I mean, he was a signature piece
Super Bowl.
For the Mike McDonald defense. Yeah.
I mean, you have Eamon Warrior on a rookie deal for a while. You just signed Job to $8 million a year, very reasonable. You've got Ty Okada on a young deal. You've got, Murphy and Williams locked up for a while. Probably worth it. So let's say he's $32 million a year. That cap hit, if JSN is 10 and 8, the next 2 years, the cap hit's not going to be that big. I think you got to do it. And I'm guessing they will do it. They've kind of said they're going to do it, right? Haven't they basically said, like, this is why we're not going crazy in free agency? We're going to lock up these two dudes.
Yeah. See, the Seahawks media is sophisticated enough, and Josh Schneider he doesn't really give away too much, but, like, he understands what's going on. I don't think, like, him saying anything, like, we want to re-sign our best players is that, like, he's not keeping secrets.
Right.
And that.
I will say that the way NFL deals and a lot of MLB deals with deferred money, NFL just doesn't call it that. JSN's cap hit in 2031 is $50.3 million.
God.
I'm guessing if we get to 2031 and JSN's not as good anymore, he's not getting that. They're cutting that, and it's going to be whatever. And if he's really good, they'll sign him to a new deal, and that's what they do, right? You get to the new deal so you don't have the $50 million cap hit. So you give the guy 2 more years, a signing bonus. It's just moving money around. So speaking of moving money around, Kev.
Yeah.
The WNBA is moving some money around.
No strike. We're not going to have a season.
Kev, do you want to share with the people the highlights of this new deal
that
CBA came up with?
So we got salary cap goes up from, so right now it's 1.5 million. It's going to be 7.0 million.
Okay, can we stop for just 1 second? Yeah. The salary cap for the entire team is 1.5 million.
Yeah.
And we just talked about JSN making $42 million a year. Okay. All right. But now it goes up to 7 million, which is good. And I don't know how the cap works in the WNBA because you got some people in some Supermax deals that I don't know how they fit under a $1.5 million cap. Maybe they pay a luxury tax. But anyway, going from 1.5 to 7 is a pretty big deal.
That's a big deal. And minimum salaries are 6 figures at $300,000. And in year one, you could make 1.4 million.
Just to be clear, the minimum in 2025 was $66,000, which if you live in Seattle and you play for the Storm, now you do, I think there was some housing. You probably have a fair amount of meals paid for at the facility during the season, but it's really hard to live in Seattle on $66,000.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like the NWSL, and it'd be fascinating to get an NWSL player to kind of talk about like how they think of their job and how much money they make compared to their peers that are in other jobs which make more money than them, and their peers aren't on TV playing for a professional sports team. I just find it fascinating.
I have an NWSL player who does multiple side hustles we could see if she can come on the podcast.
Yeah. So the bottom line is these players are getting paid more. It's commensurate with the explosion of the game. Now, query whether it's actually fair, right? Like, that's kind of what the argument has been about between the owners, the NBA, which owns the WNBA, and the players union is like, what's a fair piece of the pie? And this was a huge step. I'm sure the players wanted more. Like publicly, they'll say that they got, this is
huge,
historic
huge
and
win.
It's huge. And the WNBA is going to say that too. But I'm sure that there were concessions made in that, in the deal making stage. Of course, like there had to be, right? Or they wouldn't.
Right.
You have to go through a painful process to make sure you really squeeze as much as you could get from the other side. Both ends, right? And I'd like to think that this was a player. The players played this right? And Breonna Stewart was instrumental. It's not a accident that Unrivaled, was there. I'm sure it was talked about. Like, here's something that we're doing without your help, right? Without your platform, right? And we can go and just do this instead if you don't come to the table and give us what we want. So I thought that was a very masterful and interesting aspect of this all, is that, like, also the whole thing about everyone signing 1-year contracts and this is going to transition to what we're going to talk about right now, to create this like free agency frenzy. Crazy. Like, are these players just going to like stay where they are and just sign contracts with their teams? Or are they really going to go and it's going to be like this insane 2-week window where people are just signing with whoever?
Yeah, everything's going to be insane. So that's one thing we wanted to bring up on the podcast. Obviously, people, even if they're casual WNBA fans, probably saw the headline of this new deal. One thing roster-wise is now there are 12 players rostered, but there are free agents all over the league. It's absolutely insane. Like there's like nobody under contract. I mean, there are
over 100 players. Yeah. And how many teams are there? There's like 15 teams.
There are, yeah, it's blowing my mind. I can't even remember how many teams there are, but there are 2 new teams. That's the first thing, is that normally we would have already had an expansion draft. So the expansion draft process for 2 new teams in Toronto and Portland is also skewed because you would have had free agency and you would know who you would have left to protect. For example, the Storm have like no one under contract, basically. They have Nico Mule, Jordan Horston, Dominique Malonga, and Lexi Brown. That's their team. Those are the 4 players they have, right?
Yeah.
So if they protected 5, like in the previous years, they can protect all of them and not have anyone selected. So are they going to do free agency first for 2 weeks and then do an expansion draft? That doesn't really work.
Yeah, the expansion draft's April 1st through 6th. And then...
Well, yeah, everyone seems to think it's going to be on April 6th because the NCAA Final Four is on the 5th, right? So they'll do it the day after. The draft is on April 13th, a week later. The Storm have the number 3 pick, by the way. They have some good picks. And so Olivia Miles of TCU might be on their team. Who knows who will draft?
Okay, can I just give you...
Hold on. In that span, you also have free agency because camps open April 18th. So this is all happening.
Period. Yeah.
And it's going to be madness. So,
okay, so let me just add on a little detail here. Yes. So from April 7th to 8th, teams can make qualifying offers to restricted, reserved, or core eligible players. Like, I have no idea what that means.
I don't even know if that exists anymore under the new contract.
That's what I'm saying. It would be under the CBA, but no one has seen it yet.
Okay.
So this was an article today on ESPN.
Okay.
Negotiations officially begin April 9th, and players can formally sign deals on April 12th.
Okay.
Usually that process, which is what I just described, April 7th, that's a 5-day process. Usually that happens over a 3-week period.
But also, is the expansion draft is happening before that? So, like, Toronto and Portland have, like, no one on their team? Like, how are they going to do this? By the way, here are free agents in the league. These are names you've heard of. Jewel Lloyd, Kalia Copper, Jackie Young, Gabby Williams of the Storm, Alyssa Thomas, Brittany Griner, Skylar Diggins-Smith, Breonna Stewart, Marina Mabry, Kayla McBride, Sabrina Ionescu, Kelsey Plum. All of these players, it keeps going. Jonquel Jones, Courtney Vandersloot, Nafisa Collier, who is like the MVP of the league. Currently, all of these players are free agents. Nafisa Collier's probably going back to Minnesota. That's where she lives. That's where she's from. They'll probably give her a ton of money. It's also awesome for these players. They're all free agents because they can now sign these supermax deals if they're the best players in the league. For example, Collier, who I think is currently the best player in the league, was making $184,000.
She's now going to make 1.4. She'll get the max, 1.4 million. Awesome for her, right? This is really good. But the roster construction is going to be absolutely fascinating. And you should be paying attention to what's happening at the Storm over the next 3 weeks.
Can I just read? I'm reading this article and it's blowing my mind.
You know what's really good for video podcasts? Reading an article.
Sources told ESPN that neither...
you literally not talking, but just reading. People love that.
That neither Toronto Tempo nor the Portland Fire have received any rules or guidelines on how the expansion draft will work. The draft is scheduled for April 6th. That is in 13 days. They literally don't know what the rules are.
Yeah, what's weird is you would think while they're at this non-labor piece, right, whatever's happening, it wasn't a strike, but it wasn't a labor piece, that the league would have had it ready to roll and would have told them immediately, like, this is how it's going to work.
Some staffers on ChatGPT right now, like, putting together a draft to circulate. Like,
yeah,
I can't
exactly.
believe it.
Yeah. Well, it just doesn't make any sense because there's no players they can go get. Nobody's under contract.
Yeah.
So, like, what do they do?
Yeah, I mean, we just said that there's a few people under contract. I'm very confused because I thought the expansion draft would have to happen after free agency, but then you create this weird incentive where, like, if your team's signing a player, you're like, we're going to sign you on the condition that you're not going to be one of the protected people.
Right.
Like,
or we're not going to sign you until after the expansion draft, right? Because we might lose you. Why would we do that? So, like, then they won't do it. So they have to do the expansion draft first. It really sucks for the fans in those cities because in a normal year, you might be able to get somebody off a roster who's pretty exciting and young. And right now you're going to get nobody. Well, they don't even have a rule, so we don't know what's going to happen.
May 8th, though, game season opener for the Storm against the Valks, the Valkyries. The Storm do have a new head coach that we've talked about. And they have the number 3 overall pick.
Yeah, we have no idea. Like all teams, we have no idea who's going to be on the roster, but we'll keep you updated as we go along. Speaking of basketball, these are just my segues. I'm wearing the sweatshirt of the Sonics coming back.
Yeah, dude. But I guess we haven't talked since
we have not.
The vote's happening
Wednesday.
Well, if you're listening to this on Tuesday, it's happening tomorrow.
Right. You can just say Wednesday. Then whenever people listen to it, they know what day it is, Kev.
So Wednesday just means, like, what does that mean? It's just like they're whether to formally explore expansion.
Yes. NBA insiders say that vote is a, quote, sure thing, that it's going to get approved to go explore Vegas and Seattle as the 2 preferred options. Why this is different than other times is in previous times they've talked about opening expansion process and taking bids from cities, and the NBA is saying, nope, there are 2 cities we're looking at, and that's it. Then between the vote on Wednesday, which hopefully goes well, we'll talk to you at our next podcast if it does or doesn't. Then at some point, the NBA owners would have to actually approve expansion. Tim Booth of Seattle Times says the earliest that would maybe happen is July at the Summer League. That's when they meet again. So maybe in July we find out, yes, for sure it's going through. But this is what's interesting. Seattle Times today and many places, I saw this come through my email feed with a news notification that Samantha Holloway and the Kraken ownership group today, who are rumored by many to be the potential Sonics owners, right? They announced an umbrella organization, One Roof Sports and Entertainment, which is the name of what they've had before. They basically expanded the operation to own more of Climate Pledge Arena and to have basically the ability to take other things under the umbrella of their sports group. Okay?
Besides just the Kraken.
Yes. Todd Leiweke, once of the Seahawks and now with the Kraken in this organization, had some amazing quotes in the Seattle Times today. Okay? I'm going to give you the first one. It's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do by way of our fans. It's the right thing to do by way of our dreams going forward, what we hope. There could be a big moment forthcoming. We're going to be ready. He's the CEO of this group. Like, that's an amazing quote. Like, he's just saying, you know, what we're all hoping is happening, which is the Sonics are coming and the Holloway group with the Kraken ownership are going to be the owners of the Sox.
And they are the presumptive favorite. Yes. If you go to ctownsports.com, I wrote a little article about like who the owners are going to be. They're I don't know if there's just be like a lame duck ownership group that kind of comes together out of nowhere. I just don't see it happening. It's weird though, because I guess if there's an ownership group in the way, like this is I think this is maybe different than Las Vegas, where there legitimately like might be competing factions. Here it seems like this is the one group. This is the group that owns the arena. Like there's no other way this is going to go.
Yeah, I don't know how they can increase their ownership of the arena.
Yeah,
and then some other ownership group's going to use the arena.
Yeah,
and I think the WNBA, I think the NBA knows exactly what they're doing. They have this all aligned, but they have to, as many of our lives we've had to do this, you have to go through a process. Even if you know who you're going to hire, you go through the process, right? Even if you know, what you're going to do, you go through the process. Maybe you're right about Vegas. Let me give you the second quote real quick. He said, "Why today? Because if you look at the stars, maybe they're aligning." He's just not hiding it at all. Like he's just giving every hint you could have that this is heading in a positive direction.
You know, the one thing that's really rubbed me the wrong way though the past 2 weeks, every single person that has come up with some type of take of why this isn't a good thing. There's several people here and several different strains of argument. Gilbert Arenas gets on his little podcast and insinuates that Seattle is like not ready or times have changed. He said times have changed. Like can the city afford players? Are you stupid? Well, JSN
this millionaire tax thing is a whole.
It's also
ridiculous.
Let me talk about
JSN
that.
would be paying more in taxes in like 5 other places.
Yeah, I live in California. It's such a stupid argument. The Dodgers are here, right? They sign whoever they want. The Giants are here.
Mike Evans just signed with the Niners, no problem.
Yeah.
Trent McDuffie just signed the biggest corner contract in LA, right? And it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I feel like the people that are freaking out about this tax, which is surely going to be challenged, don't know what they're talking about.
They don't. And they might know what they're talking about, but they're purposely pretending like they're passing a narrative for a specific constituent group.
Yeah. So let me keep on going on this, because also this argument that like some people in Seattle are thinking like, oh, let me know when the Sonics are here. But for now, the NBA sucks. And like, I'm not really too excited about it. Right?
I hate that
also
argument.
A dumb argument. Like,
I hate it.
Yeah.
Now, here's the one thing I do get, Kev, and I'll kick it back to you, I promise.
Yeah.
But people have stopped watching the NBA, and they only watch casually, like every once in a while.
Yeah.
Because the Sonics left, and I would never blame anybody for that, because I stopped watching for a while. It's a different product than college and high school basketball, for sure. The regular season can be mired in a lot of offense and lack of defense.
Yeah.
It's an awesome product. It's awesome. The NBA game the stuff guys are doing is amazing. Your novice opinion that it's just corner threes and people don't know what they're doing is absolutely ludicrous. The coaching in the NBA is far superior to college basketball. The levels of stuff they're doing in adapting from European basketball and all this stuff, like it is insane, the type of stuff they're doing.
Yes.
So I would encourage people to just back off on that take.
Yes. And also, this is related, but Bill Simmons and a group of other NBA media insinuating that, like, if you add 2 teams, that the product is going to get materially worse because there's blowouts. Like, the tweet that went viral was like, there was a 40-point blowout. And it's like, well, you add the Sonics and you're just making everything worse. Like, give me a break. There's enough NBA players to go around to make this thing work. It's not, adding 2 teams is not going to make the league that much worse. Like, there's other things that need to be, other levers that need to be pulled.
Yeah, there's plenty of basketball talent. We're not lacking basketball talent in this country and in the world. Where Bill Simmons, has a podcast where he's talking about how the top 4 players in the world are as good as ever. And, talks about how cool it is the Pistons got good and all this stuff. He's talking out both sides of his mouth. You can't do it. You can't say like, Jokic and Luka are amazing for the game, and SGA coming from Canada, and you have this Wemby from France, and all this international flavor. Yeah. It's just going to get better.
And you're talking
Will
about
there be bad
Seattle
teams?
and Las Vegas, though. We're not talking about like Memphis. We're not talking about New Orleans. We're not talking about these other small market teams. You're talking about 2 established markets for other sports, right?
Yeah. I mean, it could dilute the product, but like, it's not because there's tanking this year and that's the problem. There's tanking because there's a really good rookie class that will come in next year, and the NBA hasn't built incentives not to tank. Like, what's the point of being fighting for the 10 seed for a couple playoff games and some playoff tickets? You could go get Darren Patterson from Kansas or AJ DeBanza from BYU, who could be game changers for your franchise. The NBA's constantly had that. Patrick Ewing changes a franchise. Michael Jordan changes a franchise. LeBron James changes the whole history of the Cleveland Cavaliers. But like the Cavs getting him in the draft changed their world, right? Yeah. Luka going to the Mavs changed their world. They were going to be bad after Dirk. I could
also,
go on this
you
forever,
have teams that suck. Like, that's just part of a
every
league.
Sport
like,
has it. The Rockies lost 114 games last year. They're an inept franchise. Yes, they have
the Cleveland
problems.
Browns exist.
Yes. They have 75 quarterbacks.
That you add 2 teams that the products are so bad.
Nah, it's going to be awesome. Everyone's going to be so excited to come back to Seattle. Let's hope it happens.
God, I just had to get that out. Oh my god.
We do have a team in town now who we should be excited about. And we've already gone long, but we have to preview. And so we got to spend a little time. We'll try to do a little bit rapid fire, but we got to preview your Seattle Mariners. They're projected by every projection model and every prognosticator to win the AL West this year. That terrifies me to start. I wanted to do a little breakdown preview of the Mariners. So first, their first game is on Thursday, home against the Cleveland Guardians for a 4-game set to kick off the year, followed by the Yankees. Not an easy start to the year for the M's. Pretty exciting, though, to be at home to kick things off. I'm going to the game on Thursday. I'll talk more about that later. I wanted to do, if we could combine let's start with 3 things we're worried about combined, and then 5 things we're excited about, or we're optimistic, okay? So start with the negative because you got to get it out of the way. But do you have one that you want to kick off with? Like, what's something that worries you about this Mariners team going into 2026?
I'm worried about the 4th and 5th starter.
I had that on my list, Kev.
Yeah. Is Bryce Miller hurt right now?
They haven't announced it. He's going to start on the injured list. He will not start in the rotation. But
boom.
He's not out for a long time, theoretically.
Yeah. So you slide in our homie Emerson Hancock, who's just permanently part of the rotation, right?
And then you have Castillo as your 4, who honestly,
not that bad.
No, well, I guess you're right. I guess Luis Castillo as a number 4 is not that bad. But
he's going to give you a lot of quality starts.
I'm also worried about the 4-5. That could be back-to-back just getting, like, they could get shelled. Hancock's going to have to start against the Yankees in his first start. Castillo's going to be against the Guardians with Jose Ramirez and in this lineup but Stephen Kwan. That lineup's pretty good.
Yeah.
That doesn't strike out, that hits the contact. I just, I'm with you. The 4-5 worries me. Here's another one I have that won't be popular because it should be a strength. I'm worried about the bullpen. And maybe I'm always worried about the bullpen. I feel like I said this last year. Here's the flip from last year when I said I want them to go spend on a free agent to be in the back end of the bullpen. They went and got a guy. They got Ferrer, who they love. So the back end should be Spire, Ferrer, Bazardo, Brash, Munoz. It sounds awesome for those 5. Like really awesome. Maybe spring training is affecting me more than it should, but these guys are getting shelled in spring training. And I have this Munoz fear. His velocity was a little down. He got hit a couple times last year. I have this fear that all of a sudden he's going to be very hittable. And that Spire was not good 2 years ago. And is he like every other year is good type of reliever,
Yeah.
And that Ferrer has all these like great spin rates, but like his results aren't as good as everyone wants him to be, you know? And maybe this is just the pessimist in me, and I shouldn't be worried about the bullpen.
You're feeling things, just how I feel that the 4th and 5th is a worrisome, but like,
yeah, do you think I'm crazy?
Is it actually real? Like, are we just reaching for things because this team's actually pretty good? I mean, maybe.
Well, I do agree with that. Like, this team is good.
Can I give you the one last thing I'm worried about?
Please.
Brendan Donovan hasn't had a full season or hasn't had 81 games at T-Mobile Park. And we're banking on him being, you know, a suitable replacement for the Jorge Polanco type of player, right? And we've talked about him being good. And we've seen it so many times, right? An average, a little above average MLB player becoming below average after playing a season in Seattle.
Okay, I'm going to flip that. I'm not worried about that at all because he's not the kind of hitter where it will matter. He's a spray hitter. He hits oppo. I think Brendan Donovan, I saw a bold prediction for fantasy that he's going to lead the American League in runs leading off of this team. And I think he really could.
Yeah.
I worry more about the lineup part. That's Refsnyder, Canzone, platoon at DH, and Raleigh, Robles in right field. I see an upside version of it, but like Refsnyder crushes lefties. Great dude. People say great things about him. How many Refsnyders have we seen where they come in and they're like, hey, this guy's going to platoon a DH. He crushes lefties. And then it's like, wow, he's hitting 110 in May. And everyone's
also
disappointed.
Like Cole Young, right? Prospects young guys can be 50-50. And then Crawford starting on the IL. So then you're depending on Leo Rivas.
So all of a sudden the bottom of your lineup
is kind of lame.
Yeah, so that's a worry. Now, I'm going to spin this into 5 things I'm excited about. Number 1 is Cole Young. Yeah, Kev, I had to say it. I was worried to start spring. Do you know this dude, what he's doing in spring right now?
He's tearing it up.
He had a 478-foot home run in spring training. I want you to understand, 478 feet.
That gets you some bonus points in the home run derby.
The longest home run, yeah. The longest home run in Cactus League play this spring. He has 6 homers on the spring. He's hitting over 300. I believed in him last year. I've talked on this podcast. Like, there's something about the way he plays, his swing. I was disappointed that he kind of finished not strong, but he's so young. I'm so excited to watch Cole Young play. I really hope he has a good April. That would be awesome. What's one thing you're excited about?
I'm excited.
Or you're optimistic?
I mean, I think we have to say it. We just have to say it. The rotation is legit. I mean, the fact that there's a debate of who should be the number 1 starter, Brian Wu or Logan Gilbert. And then all of a sudden you forgot about George Kirby, who Dan Wilson, I think, believes in the most, right?
Yep.
And I think like Kirby may have had a down year. I think he's poised for a bounce back this year. I think Wu is excited to not be, not to have an injury. And then Logan Gilbert has this uber confidence because he knows he could be the dude, right? That's 3 aces and 1 former ace, right? Unquestionably the best rotation, maybe in the big leagues.
It's in the
the Dodgers have the best rotation.
Some people think the Red Sox at the top of their rotation.
Yeah.
They got one of the Phillies pitchers, Ranger Suarez, and then they have Crochet at the top, and they're pretty good. But yeah, those 1, 2, 3 was on my list too, and we didn't even talk about this, but that excites me. Thinking about the year starting with Gilbert, Kirby, Wu, which seems to be the order they're going to go. That's awesome. Having Wu pitch in your 3rd game, so great.
I think too that it'll be interesting to see how these guys kind of respond to being so close.
Yeah.
And how competitive they how much more competitive that they'll be, knowing what's on the line, knowing how important it is to win the division, right? And not have to go pull off a miracle run in the second half. Although something tells me that's just how it goes, right?
No,
we'll see.
I know. I hope they build up a little
yeah.
momentum early. Although remember 2 years ago they had a 10-game lead. That didn't go well either. So my other one is the top of the lineup. So we talked about the concern maybe at the bottom, but Brendan Donovan, Cal Raleigh, Julio Rodriguez, Josh Naylor, Randy Arozarena as your 1 through 5. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
That's a really good top of the lineup. Right? Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it's amazing. Slightly related, but what does Cal Raleigh and Randy Rosarena have to do visually for you to believe that there is no beef between them?
Nothing. Randy's statement.
So you're taking it at face value.
First of all, Cal already said they're good.
Yeah.
Dan says they're good, right? So everyone said they were good. We have no reason other than Randy, what we talked about before, that Randy said some awful stuff.
He said he apologized for his.
Yeah, when he said he apologized, Cal says they're good, that they're brothers. Like, it's done. I don't think anyone's going to talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe an opening day or something.
Maybe we shouldn't talk about it, but what a weird story.
I'm not even worried about it at all. Okay, but let me tell you something really quick. Last year on opening day, okay, I don't know the actual lineup, but I'm going to tell you who started. So it's not as bad as I thought, and Bliss might be starting, but Bliss and Rowdy Tellez started on opening day. In 2023, France was at first, Colton Wong at second, Jared Kelnick in left, Tommy LaStella was our DH.
Did you see Kelnick didn't make the White Sox?
I did. Also, just as FYI, Teoscar Hernandez was our starting right fielder in 2023. That should have worked out. What's another thing you're excited about or you are optimistic about?
I mean, Josh Naylor, come on, man. He's like, who can become a fan favorite within like 3 months?
I might buy his jersey. I might do it.
Quite amazing. I don't think there's any other. If we sign him to a deal, go buy the jersey, man. It's worth it. Like,
it's awesome.
It's just amazing.
That's a black hole at first base for years. I mean, Ty France obviously had an all-star year and he was pretty good. But Josh Naylor is a better version of Ty France. And he's so much more
just
fun. No
really
offense, Ty France.
Exciting to have.
Yeah.
Just one point we were talking about like Seattle not having stars or whatever. And this was just in the fall before the Seahawks went on that, before they ran the table. But man, we haven't even talked substantively about Julio Rodriguez and Cal Raleigh. Like, we're not talking about like Josh Naylor.
One of my other exciting things is Julio. I'm a fool, I guess, to quote George Bush, fool me once, shame on you. You're never gonna fool me again. Was that pretty good?
Yeah.
It's a great part in a J. Cole song. Julio, I just think this is the April where he just does it. I mean, I'm going to tell you.
It's a good season.
I'm trying to find his splits for his career. Okay, in his career, I'm looking at, March, April, he's a 229 hitter. Most strikeouts of any month by far. Yeah, he's and then May, he's actually 279, June 251, not great. And then he goes 281 July, 320 in August, and 297 other months. So he's truly a second half player. Just imagine if he hits 265 in April, what his season's going to look like. I'm just excited to watch Julio starting on opening day. I just think I don't know. Again, I might be a fool. I think he's going to be great.
Cal Raleigh over under. Oh God. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I like your over under.
Cal Raleigh.
Over under home runs of the year?
Yeah, over under home runs.
Do you remember the bet I made last year at the start of baseball season that I talked about on this podcast? So I did not bet on Cal, but I almost wanted to because I think it was like 29.5 last year was the over under. I bet on Aaron Judge last March. It was 45.5 was his over under. He went over. He almost always goes over.
Yeah.
But what's Cal's? Do you just
39.5 on FanDuel?
I'd go over.
Over.
He's hitting in the 40s, I think. He's like worst case, it's like a Schwarber, who's awesome.
Yeah.
Schwarber hits like 44 home runs and hits like 210. I think Cal will hit more like 240. I mean, there's a scenario for sure where he's in the 30s, so it's not a guarantee. But can you imagine a 30 home run drop? Like, that doesn't seem like it's going to happen. My last one, my bonus here is Colt Emerson. Whenever he comes up, that's going to be the most exciting part of our podcast.
I was kind of annoyed that he didn't make the roster, especially with Crawford's injury, but I can live with it, I guess.
It's smart. I love Leo Rivas. Let's give him 15 days. I love that guy. And also they're playing Cole Young at short right now.
Yeah, you can't have a black
Bliss.
hole.
They're putting Bliss at second, which No offense, Ryan Bliss. That does not excite me. If Ryan Bliss is in the opening day lineup when I go on Thursday, I'm going to be real sad. But you know what I'm not going to be sad about on Thursday, Kev?
Food.
The food is exciting, but there's something more exciting that you and all podcast listeners who are loyalists should know is my number one reason for going to opening night.
I do know.
What is it?
Your magnetic schedule.
You know it, Kev. I needed the magnetic schedule. I think I've talked about this, but maybe not. I bought the rookie flex membership plan from your Seattle Mariners, which gives you a certain amount of money and you have it as credit, and then you get to spend it on whatever games or whatever tickets you want. Same thing I did at the end of last year, but I did it for the full year. So the game is almost sold out. It's way too expensive. Like $300 or 300 level tickets are like it's $50, $60 each. It's stupid. Part of the reason it's so expensive is because they're unveiling the AL West banner. You know, it's an exciting day. It's opening day. It's awesome.
Did you see the photo that leaked? Like it was just on a truck.
I did. Which also funny. I'm like, yeah, of course it looks like that. Have you seen the other banners? It's going to look like the other banners. It's not that exciting. Yeah, the food will be interesting. I don't know with a sold out crowd that I'm necessarily excited about going to lines for food. This might be like we bring our own food situation, you know. We'll see. We'll see how I approach this one. But the magnetic schedule is really exciting. Well, I'm going to other games.
Yeah.
I'm not going to any other games in that homestand as of now, but I've got tickets to. I locked in a few other games, like a Padres game, an Astros game. Part of me wanted to watch opening night at home because it's fun. I had tickets to Friday originally, but I traded them in and went back to Thursday. I'm like, I gotta get.
You would have been sweating because people still don't know how to watch the game on Thursday in Seattle.
That is fair. I think I'm gonna have to buy the Mariners TV, which
the streaming thing
will be fine.
Yeah. I mean,
I have YouTube TV, and it doesn't sound like it's gonna be on YouTube TV.
Or like people don't know if it's gonna be on. Yeah, no idea.
It'll be on Fubo.
Yeah,
it's gonna be on Fubo. I think. Maybe not. Okay, the magnetic schedule is my poll. I love a magnetic schedule. Everyone knows I have a Kraken one up. I have a Mariners one from last year up. I'm going to get 2026. It's going to make me so happy. And if I don't get it, I'm going to crash out completely. But the top 5 for today is the top 5 Mariners promotions for this coming home season. So can I just give you my 5 and you react? Does that work as a top 5?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at someone, I'm like, ooh, I kind of want that, but go ahead.
I'll go my 5, and then you can tell me if you do it in a different order or
if there's any I'd add.
Missing. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. Some of the thing is on the website, like they don't have pictures for some of the future ones, so it's a little hard to like rank them comparatively to the new ones. At number 5, I have the Humpy Shoulder Plush Night.
Yes.
Okay. It would be higher if it wasn't a shoulder plush. Like, first of all, I don't want this. I think it's a cool promotion because Humpy is amazing. By the way, all 4 of the salmon now are sponsored by Brooks Running.
The fact that we both knew that.
Yeah, it's amazing. But the Humpy, like, I don't get the Labubu's and all the shoulder things. I don't understand it. I don't get the trend. Do
people have them in high school?
No, like, nobody's rocking these things.
It's not a thing.
It's not a thing. No. Okay. So I don't know who's doing it. I don't know if it's a Comic-Con thing and people are wearing them to Comic-Con. That's my assumption. Is this terrible? Are we losing viewers? I don't know who's wearing it, but the fact that it's Humpy, I'm kind of in. I'm going to keep it at 5. Okay. Number 4 for me, the AL West replica banner.
Opening week, right?
I think it's the next day, which was what I was going to go to. It's pretty cool to have the replica banner. It's not a World Series banner, so like in some ways you could really make an argument to knock it down. There's 2 probably you'll be mad at me for not including on this list, so that's number 4. That's the second day of the season. Number 3 for me is the Randy Johnson 80s Jersey Day on May 1st. It's a gray, like old school. It's this logo, this Mariners logo on my hat, right? The old school 80s, like just ridiculous retro font. Very simple, but the retro jersey is just beautiful as a giveaway. So that's my number 3. My number 2 is the Cal 1970s replica jersey throwback. The baby blue Mariners throwback. You got to Google this, people. Oh, it is gorgeous. It is a gorgeous replica throwback.
By the way, someone left a YouTube comment asking about where you got your hat.
This one?
Yeah, this is why people watch the YouTube. Where did you get your hat?
I got it at Dick's Sporting Goods. They don't sell it anymore, though.
Yeah, I think that was the issue, is that someone was like, I want this hat, but they didn't know where to get it. So if you're watching, Dick's Sporting Goods, but they don't sell them anymore.
Kev, I found a bin of hats that I've kept that I'm going to wear. No, these hats are like 90s hats and stuff. I'm going to wear them. They're going to look real funny on my head because they're weird shaped and stuff, but I'm going to start rocking them on the pod. Number 1, speaking of that, Kingdom Fanny Pack Hat Night.
What?
Kingdom Fanny Pack Hat Night. That's number 1. You're Googling it right now.
No, I see it.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, what's better? What's better than a Kingdom Fanny Pack Hat Night? Just think about the words together, everybody, and then think about what that possibly could look like. Truly incredible stuff.
So I'm looking at the thing, and it's giving me a memory of my father.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
Going to sporting events, back when there were actual tickets, physical tickets, here's what he did so he would never forget the tickets. He'd have his hat, he'd put the tickets in that little ledge.
Yeah.
Right there, and just slot them in so they'd be kind of curved.
Yeah.
But the thing about my dad is he'd sweat a lot. So sometimes those tickets would get soaked. It's really gross.
Sweaty Jim, man.
Anyways.
But here's what Jim could have done with this
fanny
hat.
Pack.
It's literally a fanny pack on the hat. I'm sure this will be clipped and we'll have the little picture of it. But you can unzip it. You can just put the tickets in there. Yeah. It's incredible.
Yeah, back when you need a ticket.
I gotta look at what date this is.
Can you believe that's how we got into games? Like, if you lost like the paper, like you'd be screwed. Or if you detached the perforated part of it.
Yeah.
Doesn't that blow your mind?
Can I just finish with a little story for you about that?
Yes.
I went to a concert. It was a Go-Go Penguin concert for anyone who listens to Go-Go Penguin.
This was around Christmas time.
I think I told you this. I might have even said it on the pod. I was going to this concert. I went with some other teacher friends. Great. Yeah, I was the one who didn't know Go-Go Penguin. It was some sort of electronica, jazz, funk, something. Matt Butler, who you know, former a friend of mine, a co-owner of a baseball team with fantasy baseball team, not a real one, teaching partner of mine right now, bought paper tickets for this concert because they gave him the option. And he's like, paper tickets are awesome. And then, I love you, Matt, but he forgot the paper tickets. So
did you guys just have to buy at the door?
In line when he told us. And thankfully, because we live in a digital age, they had a record that he had tickets and they just printed new ones or whatever. But he brought us the paper tickets after the fact and said, well, here they are. And I've got it stapled up in my office.
Yeah, kids will never. Sorry, there's my yawn.
There's the yawn.
Kids will never understand though.
Never.
Like, you get things like you'd get a ticket signed. Like,
yeah, I have George Carl signed a ticket for me, former Sonics coach. Yeah.
Honestly, I do think though, like the best souvenir is a picture with the person. I think that's better than the autograph. It's more personal. No one else has it.
Sure.
It's a snapshot of a memory.
It's like an NFT 101.
Yeah.
Now they're like making digital tickets you can purchase after. Like you could have bought ALCS ticket with your, wherever you sat with the thing.
I mean, I could look at my phone and I could see my ALCS digital ticket and my Super Bowl ticket. And
I think I
don't have my national championship ticket though. No, it
goes away.
Looks like it's gone.
So Kev, what if you had like the physical tickets were cool? I made a poster in 1995 with the refuse to lose card they handed out at the game, a scorecard.
That's pretty cool.
Stop yawning. A scorecard from the game and the physical tickets. I made like a picture collage that's
pretty cool.
Yeah, you can't do that anymore. These kids, all they do is just scroll on the Snapchat and they don't even know what a physical ticket looks like.
I mean, how frustrating is it when those little readers don't work? Oh my gosh. Anyways, I can just go on this.
The old men are done. It's way past our bedtime. It's time to go. Hopefully we'll be back next week with episode 89, but you never know with us.
Yeah. Were you all impressed that I know what physical tickets were? I feel like some people listen to the podcast and think I'm like 30 years younger than you, which I'm not.
Well, that seems like more of a slight at me than you. 30 years, my God.
All right. Well, I guess that was the top 5. So
that was
great.
The top 5.
That was our podcast.
The bottom 5 was all the comments you made about my age. So
see you next week, hopefully.